So now we need to learn a little bit more about the timeline. So remember I went here in the beginning and I was showing you some things, you know, the subtitle track, the audio waveforms, these audio waveforms. That is really cool. But DaVinci Resolve has introduced some new features to just make our life easier as editors. So if we just go here and click display stacked timelines, then what happens is that, because a lot of times if I'm editing a project, I'll show you, it's gonna blow your mind. So let's say this is one of my clients' project, right? If I didn't have a stacked timeline. So this is one of the video for them. So I'm editing like 4 videos for them. Okay, if I want to go, and a lot of times what I do is that I finish a video and then I make a duplicate of that, and then I make another duplicate of that, so that if I have done any changes in this video, I can always just go back to another version that I created. Or if I want to go to another video project, then I make a multiple timelines. And how do you make multiple timelines is, and I have also a folders for timelines. So how do you make a new timeline is, you just go timeline new, create a new timeline, and DaVinci would create a new timeline. And how you can access that, you go here, display stacked timeline. And now this is the timeline for company video. I can just jump into the timeline of terminal video. If I want I also made a timeline for a voiceover of someone. So I just have the voiceover there, and if I want to copy anything from here, so say for example, if I want to copy from here to cool, let's say, and if I want to copy here, what I would do, just copy everything here. So this is being copied from a completely different timeline. And that's why having stacked timeline is really important, because you can just toggle between different timelines. You can copy and paste different clips between these timelines, and that is really handy. And of course, if you click on the arrow, it would show you which timeline is not open, because I already have a lot of timelines open here. So if I close them, if I close all of this, and then if I want a new timeline, I can choose from the list which timeline I want. And there's also another cool feature. You can put multiple timeline layers. So say for example, on this timeline, I have this video. For these features, you really need a big screen. And here I can put another video with this, saying this here. So here what we can do is, if we want to say copy these videos on this one, on the top timeline, you can just drag and drop like this. You see? I am just dragging and dropping from here. So of course it's not gonna move. It would just make a duplicate from these video clips from here to another timeline. And that is, I think it's just really handy to be able to access all these timelines in one go. So what did I do was, I did display stack timeline. So that helped me to get these timelines next to each other. And then I went here and then I clicked on multiple timelines. So if I just pressed plus, then it was another layer of timeline. I can open anything here. If I want another one, I can have 3 layers here. So you see, you can almost open 3-4 timelines in one page. And that is really cool. Now, what I want to show you one more thing is that you can also switch between different projects. You see what I just did here? So I am editing on DaVinci Resolve with you, DaVinci Resolve 20, but if I wanted to go to my client's video, I can just go home, and what I need to do, I right click and then I go dynamic project switching. This you need to turn it on. And then if you have another video project from something else, that you can just access like this. And then now you don't need to go home and click another project. You can just click on these arrows and open multiple projects. I can open some other project as well. And now we would have 3 videos. So 1, 2, 3 video projects. And of course, you can do the exact same thing again. You can just copy all of this, everything on any of the projects. So you don't, it's, I think it's just, it improves the quality of life so much as an editor. So yeah, what we learned here was switching between different timelines easily, and also switching between different video projects, which is, in my opinion, really cool. Now I want to show you something also really important. So I'm not sure where is the timeline from this video. Here. So I think it is in Sony. Yeah. So this timeline is this one, right? I'll just make it a little bit bigger. This timeline is here. Remember I told you that I make duplicates of the same timeline. So what you can do, how do you make a duplicate? You go here, right click, and then you go at the bottom here, duplicate timeline. And then it's gonna make another timeline which would say timeline 1 copy. We can also just rename it. I usually do backup, and now you have a backup here. So even if whatever you do something wrong here, you can always just go to the backup. Or if you want to make 2 versions, usually if I'm editing for a client, I make like 2-3 versions of the same video to show them which one do they like. And that time I would have multiple timelines, you know. So that's really handy. And a lot of times if it's a big video project, then I make a separate bin and I would just name them timeline. And then I would just drag and drop all the timelines in those folders. We can do it now. So you just go timeline here, you go to timeline bin. Where was our backup? Backup is here, you go to timeline. So now you don't have to search it, it's all here. So that's also really handy. I want to show you something also really cool. Say for example, you're not doing this backup and it's also a bit tedious. I do it at the end of the video project. But say for example, if you are doing something at this portion, if there's a lot of video clips and you delete something here by mistake. And of course, DaVinci Resolve is saving every few seconds, every few minutes. So how you can access the things what you have deleted and you didn't know. Because for example, if I'm zoomed in here, then I don't know if I by mistake deleted something in the front. So how you can access that? So then what you need to do, you go to timeline, you go right click on the timeline, you go to restore timeline backup, and then DaVinci would show you all the different versions what it has saved. So right now it's 1033, we have a version from 1023, we have a version from 1013. You can of course change the duration of how often it saves. I have done it 10 minutes. So if we click on that how our timeline looked on 1023, we would have here. So remember we were playing around with the texts. So all the text they appear here. And also something really cool is whatever, so this new timeline which was 10 minutes back, DaVinci is not overwriting on my current timeline because I went here, backup this. DaVinci generates a separate timeline so that I can watch both the timelines, you know, side by side and see like what all things got deleted. So that is really cool. Remember all these drone clips we had. So for example, if we deleted by mistake and if we couldn't do Command Z because it was say 50 steps back. So then you can obviously access, just go 10 minutes back and then you have a backed up timeline. So that is, I think it's just so cool because I'm sure a lot of editors would have had this problem that the project crashed or they did some mistake and then they just cannot access or cannot go back. So those were some of the timeline features that would improve your quality of life and just make your life easier as an editor in DaVinci Resolve. And now let's move on to some of the really cool studio features. So if you're a free version user, I would recommend you to just glance through the next chapter so that then you know what all features you are missing out. And if you really think that that is something useful for you, just watch it. Or if you want to just skip to the next section, just skip the next chapter and go to the following one.